Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Play the Hits. We are finally at the finale of Super Mario RPG. How are we doing, Max?
Hell yeah, I'm ready for it. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, this should get us... Oh, hey, look, there's the save
there
point.
it fucking was.
Whatever, Chris. That's alright. Anyway, we're here in Smithy's dungeon. We're gonna take down the final boss. I don't recall this being super long. You're right, there's some stuff to it, but it's not...
It was if you're unprepared to come here, the fights will take you a while.
Yeah, we are definitely not unprepared.
No, we don't have the absolute best equipment, but the absolute best equipment makes Final Fantasy VI look difficult. Like,
yeah.
You're just unbeatable with it. So hey, at least there's some fight. No, not really.
No, I was gonna say
these chumps are still going down.
Because I think we're still gonna gain another level or two before Smithy, and that should really just tilt the kettle.
We're gonna wreck his day.
Yeah, he's not gonna have a good time against us. Though he should still be able to do some respectable damage, I believe. Probably not.
Also, Peach has the lazy shell on right now. Her attack really isn't bad.
Oh, no, she doesn't. I put the royal dress back on her.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I was about to say, damn, she's still a powerhouse.
She's on fire. Oh, boy, here. So I'm finding... Maybe it's just my old age, but I'm having more trouble than I remember with the isometric platforming in this section.
Yeah, I mean, it's
which
tough.
has kind of been the story of the whole game, but you know. So
yeah, some of those like the barrel counting and stuff like one looking at things and knowing what's there is a little difficult. But yeah, even stuff like this, it's kind of hard.
We'll get through it. Last episode we were talking about like how great this generation has been for RPGs. Continuing on that too. So yeah, The Witcher 3 were the big hallmarks. We talked a little bit about how certain games kind of came out that really kind of transcended the action genre and became RPGs in their own right. Breath of the Wild kind of principal among them. But yeah, you had games like that really kind of turned sort of everything, like even like open world gaming. Like Breath of the Wild kind of completely changed up the open world game as well. Just by giving you complete and total freedom from the get-go.
And that's the thing is, I've seen so many people say, not like totally shit on the game, but be like, oh my god, look at all the love it's getting over Horizon, and it's really because it has Zelda in the title. And it's just like, no. If you're saying it's like, it's doing the bare minimum for open world, but it just happens to be a Zelda game, that is like not true at all. It is some new thing.
You almost can't compare the two because there's such different styles of the open world genre. I mean, Zelda, and you really can't say that Breath of the Wild rests on its laurels as a Zelda game, because one of my major critiques of the game was that it seems to go out of its way to divorce itself.
Yeah,
from
it breaks from
Zelda.
Tradition a lot, and sometimes to
its detriment.
Where we think about like dungeons, I would love to have had
I would
even
have loved
just the
to
divine
have dungeons.
beasts.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of the shrines are fun, and it was fun to find them and to have different warp points.
So,
but
some of the shrines were fun. Some of them were maddening.
Yeah, and there's there is too many, I guess you could say. It's nice that they added a lot to the game.
My problem actually wasn't with the quantity. It was like the ones that relied on motion just fucking didn't do it for me at all.
Some of those, at least, I don't know if it's all of them, but I learned pretty early on you could cheat them. Like, oh, here's this maze. It's like, I'm just gonna flip it to the other side where it's smooth and just kind of...
Yeah, there were some creative ways that you could game the system in order to get through those. You're right.
And you know, I've talked about it a million times, how much I love that about that they just roll with it. They're like, yeah, sure, okay, you want to do this? Yeah, it works. But they kind of encourage it by not stopping it at all.
Yeah. So a couple of other things that I really would have liked to have seen in that game. I would have very much enjoyed the even some classic Zelda music. You know, it doesn't have to be everything, but something. Hey, there's Mario's finger quotes on the weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have really enjoyed it. Like, even if it were just kind of like, the game had some really good sound design, and one of the things that the music did do that was kind of cool was the music was almost kind of like a whisper as you traveled around the field. But when you heard that whisper, I would have been so down for hearing, just like the classic Hyrule theme, like even if it were just like really subdued and just nothing but background noise. It's just like the do 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 do.
Yeah, I think it was like way
transitions into another piece or something.
Way too subdued and way too, because it is actually the like classic theme, but it's like 10 times. It's 10 times slower than normal.
Oh, you could have fooled me.
Yeah, exactly. You're talking about 2 times slower and a little quiet, and they literally it's 10 times slower, but they also take like a third of the notes out or a fourth of the notes out or something. So it's, I get it. The whole point is this is basically in a post-apocalyptic world, and so the music is like broken, kind of like the world is. So, it works as a narrative kind of thing, but the music itself, I wouldn't say it's bad. I would say it's not there. Basically,
it's just not present.
It's not present. The game is relaxing as hell.
It is,
and the quote-unquote music is part of that, but I'm not really looking for, like, listening to the OST. I'm not looking to be relaxed. I'm looking for some music, and it's almost like it's not there. So, with the exception of, obviously, a few songs that...
Am I supposed to be attacking these things? Yep, there they go.
Yeah. Okay. Although I actually don't remember if there's a strategy, but it makes sense to, it almost always seems to be, like, kill the little things before the big bad.
Right.
But so you're right about the music, and as far as I wish there were some classic dungeons, and you don't have to have like a item. I know that having certain items in this big open world could potentially, maybe break the game.
But the old ones didn't. It was kind of fun to break the game a little bit, like.
And even if they had classic dungeons, but instead of items, it was like, hey, just use your... Because I think about Hyrule Castle, and that's like the best quote-unquote dungeon in the game,
Right.
And that actually was okay. Hyrule Castle
was actually a lot of fun to do. Like dodging those enemies and like...
If there was dungeons like that, like, that wouldn't be too bad. You can think of puzzle... Like, obviously, you know how to incorporate puzzles. You don't have to do... the motion controls and stuff like that. They made plenty of what do you call it? Plenty of shrines that had clever puzzles in them.
For sure.
But they were just like one gimmick, and they could mix those together and make like 4 really good dungeons for the Divine Beasts.
Right.
Not that the Divine Beasts weren't bad. They were interesting puzzles in their own right.
They were okay.
It was very different.
Yeah. I would say that what they did well. There just wasn't enough of it, and whereas like classic Zelda dungeons could, like, if you were entering one for the first time, you could easily spend like 2.5 to 3.5 hours in a single dungeon, just getting your bearings, finding the items, getting through it. Whereas, like, even if you were brand new to the Divine Beasts, you were maybe in them for an hour. I mean, they just weren't.
No,
like,
none of them
once you
were
got
really...
the central gimmick, you were good to go.
Yeah, maybe for whatever reason, the one in the volcano gave me some problems, like trying to get a certain ball down a shaft or something. LOL. But that was like not even 2 hours. The other ones were pretty easy. So yeah, once you figure it out, you're right. And I think that first Divine Beast, once I realized that I could actually control the thing from the map, I was like, oh, okay. And figured it out pretty easily. So some actual dungeons, and maybe as far as like the world itself having more enemies. Like, again, I know it's serving the purpose of, hey, this world, a lot has happened, and there's a lot of empty space, and it's just animals and stuff like that, and it's going to be a lot of wild kind of enemies.
Right.
But again, it's breaking from tradition for Zelda, which, while that's not just a sin, right on its face.
No, not at all.
I missed a lot of stuff.
I did too. Like, another thing that I would have really liked to see, kind of just from a tradition standpoint, like, how there was the Master Sword wasn't required necessarily,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of story surrounding it, and it was like a big deal when you finally pulled it, right?
Yeah.
And I think for most people who play through the game the first time, they're not going to consider the Master Sword to be an optional thing. They're going to seek it out. I would say they should have done the same thing for the green tunic. Like, I would have liked to see it. Like, the one thing that I am kind of sour about with the whole thing is that Nintendo has kind of now made Blue Tunic Link like default Link. And I'm not down for that, actually. Like, for me, Link is still, you know, Ocarina of Time, Fairy Boy, Green Tunic Link. And that's
it's the Link we grew up with.
Yeah.
I like the look of Champion Tunic Link. You know,
I do too, but it would have been cool to start with that, and then it's like, oh man, if you want to take on Ganon, you're going to need to upgrade that tunic, and when they do upgrade it, it becomes the classic green.
Yeah, that
would have been cool
incorporating that in the story.
Yeah.
Well, in the game, when you get the Clothes of the Wild, I guess you could say, you are so done with the game. Like, there's no way you haven't already beaten it if you're doing 120
you really
shrines.
don't get a chance to, like, actually employ them, which is kind of a
that's
bummer.
true. That's true. It's really just like your ending treat.
Yeah. Which
also,
I would have loved to have seen it not delegated to something that minuscule.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I also love me a hookshot. It's always been my favorite thing in a Zelda game, and when they incorporated that in Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, I mean, Ocarina of Time, that was a magical thing. Magical game.
Yeah.
That was just the N64, that move to 3D. Nintendo, it could have been really rough, and over time we would have forgiven it because it's Nintendo, and over time as it got better it would have been nice. But the fact that they just nailed it with Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time, it was
like right out of the gate of 3D. That's insane to think about. Like,
it really is.
Like, honestly, like, I cannot think of even like Crash Bandicoot on the PS1. It was smooth and it was fun. It did not reach the same heights. Like, Sony never reached the same heights as Nintendo as far as like 3D platforming until at least
and that's
the
the
PS2.
thing. That game and those games was basically 3D gaming until like Mario 64. And that just changed things so much. But yeah, Ocarina of Time nailed everything, and like the hook shot I thought was so fun in that game. So I really would have been nice to have a hook shot in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, so a couple other things in Breath of the Wild. Me too, and I really appreciated what they did there, which was like take just kind of a bare bones toolbox, god damn it, and like see how far they could stretch it. Like the abilities that you start with at the beginning of the game are literally the ones that you end the game with, and that's hard to pull. Okay, I'm about to get really pissed. That's actually really hard to pull off.
And then like walk to this one. Oh, nice. All right, we're good. Okay.
That's a really hard thing to pull off, and they did it masterfully. But I would have loved, for some more. I don't know. So for me, the big items in 3D Zelda are the hook shot, the bow, the boomerang, and the hammer. And I would have loved to see more emphasis on the bow. I rarely use my bow unless I was required to in that game. Yeah, I did not use my bow very much at all.
Wow, I think the first half of the game, I used my bow all the damn time. That's how I opened
Maybe that's why like the first part of the game was so slow for me.
Huh. That was how, I focused on stamina until I maxed out my stamina. I did most of the game with 3 hearts. But, so I would use the slowdown a lot. I would get to high places.
See, I was extremely
headshot
stupid.
A lot of things.
I was extremely stupid. I just did like sword and shield and just stubbornly refused to not get good at it, and so like all my fights in the early game were like sword and shield, and gradually I would start to incorporate things like bomb and stasis. And
did you stealth around a lot and sneak around, or
I did use a fair amount of stealth. Yeah, actually, strangely enough, I did play that. When stealth for me in video games, when stealth is an option, I basically consider stealth the correct way to play.
Gotcha.
Because usually you're rewarded for it in some strange way. And that was kind of true in Zelda. Like, you could take down bigger enemies much more easily by getting, like, a stealth attack on them.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, I was stealthiness, but then, the bow and arrows I used all the damn time.
I did not use the bow and arrow until, like, the very end of the game. And
it was a lot of fun.
Part of that for me is, like, in RPGs, what I tend to do is I hoard items. And, you didn't really have that option in... What the fuck?
Oh my God.
You didn't really have that option in Breath of the Wild because everything breaks after a few hits. But at the same time, for whatever reason, I never felt as guilty about going through a sword as I did the bow and arrow. I don't know why. It was just some strange logic that I had in my brain.
Okay.
But I would have loved to see, like, a boomerang or the hook shot incorporated in some creative way.
Yeah,
and I know there was
a nice boomerang
items, but
they're weapons.
Yeah, then they weren't very good at all.
Not really, no. Most of them were kind of for chumps.
My God.
What was I gonna say? When you aim in that game, do you use the stick? Do you use the gyro at all?
I really don't use the gyro at all.
Okay. I actually, and again, I think motion controls are largely gimmicky. When they're used, like, just kind of like in Mario Odyssey, where it's like it'll make certain things better, you really don't have to. I'm like, okay, cool. Breath of the Wild, again, it wasn't like Twilight Princess on the Wii where you had to slash with the freaking remote.
Right.
This game was like, okay, if you want to use gyro for, like, magnesis or any of the stasis, or what do you call it, the Sheikah Slate powers, or for the bow and arrow, and I found I was a lot more accurate using the gyro for the bow and arrow.
Oh, like, you mentioned that.
I got really good at it. I think it was perfectly done. And then you can use them in combination where, say, someone's on, like, a horse, you follow them very quickly with, like, the stick, and then you make a last-minute adjustment with the gyro. It becomes second nature. And then I never used it for the Sheikah Slate powers, except for Cryonesis. With that one, you would just always, when you would start using it, you would always hold a controller a certain way. And if you held it that way, you would always throw the stuff at the perfect length, where you could, like, jump to the next one. And so it was the quickest, like, literally it's quicker than any other way if you know how to do it. So I love the gyro.
Yeah, I can say I should give it a shot before writing it off and saying I can never get used to those kind of controls, but historically, I'm very bad with those kind of controls.
Yeah, and maybe some people just don't like it, and maybe some people are really good with the stick too. Maybe I suck with the stick, but I love the gyro for a few things in that game.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, there's a very interesting game. I loved it so much. Like, I can...
Yeah, I love Breath of the Wild too,
I give it a lot of praise, but there were some things that were, like, it's almost, like, so disappointing because, man, this would have been...
This could have been, like, the perfect Zelda game.
The best game ever made, with, like, dungeons and stuff like that. Oh my God! But it's still...
And ultimately, like, it's not my favorite Zelda game, but that doesn't mean I hate it either. Like, I love the game. In fact, I would love to play it on this channel sometime.
I was talking about what do you call it? The people saying, "Oh, it gets a pass because it's Zelda" when it comes to the exploration, and I think it did things for world exploration that were, haven't been done before. And I know climbing is simple.
Like I said, it was genre defining, really. Like it kind of upended what people consider to be the acceptable formula for an open world game. And that was really ambitious.
You are crazy. You have a crazy amount of freedom in that game.
Yeah.
It's so
like literally you can march out of the opening section to the final boss if you want to.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is, like, it's not impossible either. Like, there's people who do speedruns of that game where they literally just march to the final boss. They do.
And yet they made it hard enough where most people would be crazy to do that, because you can do that and you actually have to fight all four. Every divine beast you don't do, you have to fight that boss. So you have to fight 4 bosses before you even fight Calamity Ganon if you decide to go that way. But people do because they're nuts.
and they can succeed. Like, I think, like, the world record for the game is, like, what, 20-some minutes? Or
it's like 28 minutes.
Without, like, doing game-breaking glitches or something?
Oh, without glitches? Oh, geez, Siri.
Fuck you, sir.
But what was it? So there's like speedruns without glitches. There's speedruns without glitches, but they do have amiibos where they'll use like the horse. And then there's because like the stasis, I don't consider that a glitch, where they'll like kind of do fun, crazy things with that. But the whole jumping on a bokoblin while you have your bow and arrow out and going like 50 miles with that's
that's a glitch.
So yeah, and that's how everyone's doing the fastest speedruns now, is with that. And it's like, okay, that's totally glitchy. But the stasis, they totally meant for that. I think that's totally fine. It's a me mushroom. Oh, fuck you.
I need no stinking mushrooms.
Yeah, that's true. You
like,
really
I don't. I'm not being arrogant. I just don't need it.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild was an interesting beast.
And I am comparing to Horizon. I think just because the games came out right next to each other.
Yeah, Horizon was doomed from the beginning. I mean, it was still a successful game, but I don't feel like it quite got the exposure that it could have or even should have, precisely because it came out the same week as Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. I think about FF15's exploration and like Horizon's exploration. Now, even those two games, comparing those two, are very different, because FF15, they expect you to use the car a lot.
Right.
And there's some places.
Yeah, there was no way you were walking that world map.
No, and you could just run around, because they made it all explorable.
Yeah.
But it was largely empty.
Yeah.
It was empty but beautiful, and it wasn't devoid of life. There was enemies all over, which was
so here's the weird thing about Final Fantasy 15. To this day, like, I cannot tell you what the difference is. Final Fantasy 15 had a big open world and, like you said, was largely empty. Breath of the Wild had a big open world and was largely empty. But for some reason I consider Breath of the Wild brilliant, where Final Fantasy 15 I consider, like, unfinished. I don't know what the difference is, though.
It's the smallest little touches, I feel like. Where the things you got in 15, it's like, oh, we're going to add this coil here, or this thing. It's just like, they're all over the place. Like, this isn't special. Breath of the Wild 1 had the Koroks, which again is just like, oh, you add one little system. It's like, hey, yeah, you do. And that was smart of them. So the Korok was always a fun thing. It's like, oh my god, there's a Korok here. And then another thing is, there was always just intrigue. It's like, wait, what does this do?
Right.
And I think 50% of the time it was a Korok, but 50% of the time it was like a chest with an interesting weapon or shield or bow.
So you just scratched on it, I think. I think for me what it is that even though Breath of the Wild did have a lot of empty space, it all felt very intentional and purposeful. FF15, it did not feel purposeful half the time. It kind of felt like it was big for the sake of being big.
Yeah, and it's like, holy crap, how do we fill this? Other than with, like, enemies, which they did a good job filling it with enemies. Breath of the Wild was like, this, once again, serves the post-apocalyptic feel, but we're not going to just leave it with nothing. We're going to add, hey, if you look here, here's a weapon. If you look here, here's a Korok, and there's always something that could, like, serve you getting more powerful, or serve you collecting something. It was, and then, like, again, comparing 15 and what do you call it, Horizon. Like, Horizon, it seems like when it comes to Aloy, I guess, doing stuff, climbing or ziplining, it seems like anything that's yellow, that's kind of like
so you definitely didn't have the freedom of movement that you had in Breath of the Wild, but Horizon succeeds for a completely different reason, which is that there is no negative space in that game. Like, everything. Like, there are open spaces, but absolutely everything is jam-packed with either collectibles, with unique enemies, with quests, with storyline, with shops, NPCs, vendors, things like that. Like, it all was absolutely positively full. Like, to the point where, like, if they had put, like, just one more thing on the world map, they probably would have had to increase its size.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that game is just
packed,
filled to the brim with content.
Now, what do you think of? Because I'm still just getting into the game. I'm actually playing a lot more Persona 5 now. But
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, the game's finally opened up where my days are free. So I'm still.
You're gonna have so much fun. Like you're gonna have more fun doing the after school stuff than you are the dungeons. Like
I think so, and I'm not trying to rush into Kamoshitas. I'm trying not to. Well, they're like, "Come on, let's do it." I'm like, "No, I wanna talk to these people. I wanna read the books in the library." Although it seems like that's not. I'm trying not to look up stuff because it's like I bet once I do this Kamoshida thing, hopefully people won't hate me anymore, you know. But it seems like everything that there's a better way to do it. And it's just like, oh, you could do this, but
hey, we just got someone on the chat. Check this out.
Hey,
Breath of the Wild was interesting in that it made being alone in a world comfortable. They are absolutely right, dude.
That is true.
That's exactly
right.
That's
no small feat.
Yeah, with 15, even though you like weren't alone, it really felt like isolated, but like not intentionally so. In Breath of the Wild, it definitely felt intentional.
Yeah.
And it was actually richer for it because, in a weird way, like you could meditate on your thoughts in that world. It was nuts.
That game is hella chill, by the way.
Yeah, like I learned something about myself playing Breath of the Wild.
My wife loves me playing that game, and it's still like I've beaten the crap out of it, and it's still like, do you want to play Breath of the Wild while I sew or something? So yeah, sure.
Yeah, right. That's why the hell not.
The quote-unquote music, the sound effects, just being outside, it's such a chill game.
Yeah.
Lowers your blood pressure. Even though when I was first learning the combat and fighting Lionels and stuff, it's like, fuck, goddamn it.
That'll stress you the hell out.
That'll stress you out a little bit.
But going back to Persona, so like my experience with that game was kind of interesting because you've probably noticed by now that the dungeon design is really good.
Yeah.
But the after-school activities in that game get so addictive that by the time I was on like the 4th or 5th dungeon, even though they were still really good, I didn't really want to do them because I almost felt like it was taking away from my
taking
time
you away from the school,
right. From what I wanted to do. Yeah.
It seems like such a duality game, you know, that there's the RPG, the classic dungeon, you know, stuff, but then the other part is like almost like a date sim. And you're not dating, as far as I know. You don't date anyone.
You do,
but you're trying.
But it's not.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's not date sim style. So like,
Okay.
it's pretty bare bones as far as like the way that you can construct your relationships. Like
when I'm thinking of date sim, though, it's like bettering yourself to make yourself attractive, and it definitely seems like.
And
that's
you
what
do that.
Yeah, your what 5 things: the guts, the knowledge, the kindness, charmingness, something else. But I don't know if there's a way, like, can you mess things up where points are taken away from something or your relationship with someone starts to go bad?
So the basic friendships, not really. It's one of those things where, like, if you insult them, all you really do is harden them. But yeah, so you can make it so that you don't progress and unlock all of their combat abilities. You absolutely can.
Okay.
But then you also have opportunities like when you like get their friendships to a certain level, like you can basically just be a dick to them. And they're like, oh, I've learned that the world is a cruel place, and it's thanks to you that I know that now, and I'm ready to kill people.
Wow.
Stuff like that, yeah. But so with relationships, like actual romantic relationships with the female characters in the game, the distinction is you can like kind of two-time. You can basically date every woman in the game if you want. And it doesn't have much of an effect in the first playthrough, but apparently in the New Game Plus, there's like a scene where it can come back and bite you in the ass.
Really? Oh, yeah. like Tress and Yennefer style or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
Triss, I guess.
That's funny. That's kind of... But you're right. The relationships themselves are definite. Like the romantic relationships are definitely not the emphasis of that game. It's all about the core friendships.
Gotcha. That's cool. I like that, and that's what it feels like right now. Just starting with freaking, was it Ryuji and what's her face? So it's just like I like our little group right now, you know. But it seems like a lot about bettering myself and strengthening the relationship with them. And then also just so many things to like cleaning up your room, buying stuff for yourself.
Yeah, like little things that seem kind of inconsequential and they make a big difference over time.
And I'm like trying, and it seems like I'm missing. Like there's more stuff to do. Like the first day I was hanging out in Shibuya a lot, and I'm like, wait a second, where's my coffee shop? Where's my home again? It's like, wait, that's a whole other town that I forgot how to get to. Which is kind of like it's one station. You got to go to Shibuya to get to that station to go back home, basically, and that's a whole other town. I'm like,
so
oh
that's
shit.
That's kind of cool. You bring up something interesting, which is that the game itself, Persona 5, is definitely not open world, but the world that it creates is, for one thing, it's really packed, and for the other thing, it's really enjoyable to explore, despite not being in any way, shape, or form like a traditional open world. There we go.
There we go. I'm having, now that it's opened up, I'm having a lot of fun. It is not overwhelming at all. I mean, the only thing that's kind of scary for me, these guys. The only thing that's scary for me is that I'm going to say something and mess something up. But so far, it seems like everything even the questions in class, I haven't gotten any of the questions wrong so far. Yeah. So it's just
and I'm sure you've noticed that you can actually just like call in your your lifelines and just have the internet answer it for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, for like even questions in class, you can do that?
Yeah, the questions. That's what I'm referring to. So the relationship questions, you're kind of on your own. But the great thing is that even if you mess one of those up, you have opportunities just to like do mundane activities with your friends that aren't like these huge scripted events. Like you can just go to the arcade with Ryuji and the screen basically just says, and they pass the afternoon playing video games. And then your friendship with Ryuji still goes up.
Oh, nice. Okay. So aside from that, and I don't even feel pressured with that, but the game itself, I don't feel like I'm on such a timetable. Like right now, I still have a few days until like the expulsion. So again, first dungeon.
Yeah.
But time doesn't really seem to pass unless I either work a job,
yes,
or I do something like I study or something like that. But otherwise, until I choose to do one of those things, it seems like I'm free to take my time.
Yes, absolutely.
And listen to all the side conversation.
There's not like an actual running clock.
Yeah, which is great because
like
how I thought it.
Yeah, doing actions is what passes the time.
Okay, and that's what I was worried. I was like, wait, I'm on a timetable, and then I realized that the time it was always after school. It never really went to evening until I did something. I was like, okay, we're good. So it really gives you as much time as you want to use your time wisely. And that is what I noticed with the whole network thing. Is it was like, how did people use this day, or what were they doing? And that's kind of cool if you wanted the help. Which is like, I was checking it out. It's like, okay, what are people doing, and what's their average level? And it's like, okay, average level going into the first dungeon is like 8, and I'm level 6. So it's like, okay.
Right. So one thing you might notice, like about the beginning of the game, as far as like the social activities, it may actually be better for you to go into the dungeon sooner rather than later. In fact, that's kind of how I played it. Was because once you beat a dungeon, then every day that you don't spend in the dungeon is a free day. Like that's just open to you. So if you're able to complete the dungeon in like 1 or 2 days, then you're handsomely rewarded with that because you have all of this open time to build your character after that. And then the other cool thing is that the further you progress in the game, the more activities open up after school. And so that's a pretty big component of it. It's just opening up everything that's available to do. So it feels kind of narrow at the very beginning of the game, but by the end of it, you realize, like, wow, I actually can't do all of this in one playthrough. So by the time I got to the end of my first time through the game, I had maxed out my relationship with every core party member. So like Ryuji, Makoto, and Morgana, like all of them, Sasuke. I maxed out my relationship with them, and then maybe like 1 or 2 of the side characters that weren't required for the story. But there's like 10 other ones besides that. So, despite how long of a game it is, it almost kind of does demand a second playthrough, which I haven't yet done, just because like I'm so... That was one of those games where like when I finished it, like I was so emotionally... I was so emotionally invested in the story that like...
I can imagine.
I couldn't necessarily go back right away,
Oh, snap, son.
And now it's to the point where like I've got so many other projects that I'm working on that I don't really want to restart it right away just because I know I'm going to get super invested again and everything else is going to fall by the wayside.
So are you saying, because right now I have 12 days or something until expulsion, are you saying that, first of all, if I'm hearing you right, you might not be able to beat the dungeon in one day, which I didn't know about. I figured I could do it on the last day if I really wanted to, but...
You can. Well, the game's usually pretty good at letting you know. You'll get to a certain point in the dungeon, and then a story scene will take place, and they'll be like, oh, we have to come back tomorrow, or something will happen.
Oh, okay.
But the game's usually pretty good at letting you know that.
So there's a time, a time limit.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I would say at a bare minimum budget, 5 days for a dungeon, just to be safe. But then keep progressing in the story and see if you can get it done in 2. And if you can do that, great. Or if you come to a point where your party is really chugging, you're spending way too many valuable resources, just go home and rest and come back the next day, because it's really not going to ultimately affect you that much. And it may even help you out.
The second thing that I might be hearing you say is you're saying, oh, maybe go to the dungeon first, and then you'll have more days to do stuff. So are you saying those days that I have right now will still be available after I'm done with the dungeon?
Yes. So say you have 17 days on your counter, 17 days till expulsion. And you finish the dungeon in 2 days. Those other 15 days, those are completely yours, and then once those 15 days pass, that's when the story picks back up.
Oh, wow.
But in that time, you can, develop your relationship with your party members. You can do other, optional games and stuff like that. It's really
That's cool. And now I can kind of see...
Mementos, which I don't know if you've done Mementos yet.
No, not yet.
Okay.
I can see the wisdom of what you're saying now, because maybe if I do the dungeon, maybe stuff will open up, or maybe things will happen with my characters or something, so maybe I'm a little limited right now. It'd be worth it to do the dungeon. Okay.
You absolutely would be, yeah. Like I said, the dungeon should probably be your first priority, and then once that's done, just drink in all of the narrative and character relationships and everything.
Okay. I basically spent, I bought some just books, I bought this and that, and maybe some vending machine crap, whatever. Got a job, and then the job took me to 1 day, and I developed some knowledge and stuff from this and that.
So basically, the goal that you should have is to never go straight from school to bed. Even if none of your friends want to talk to you, or you're at a standstill with some of them or something, go do your job, go to the batting cage, even just study at a coffee. Yeah, study at a coffee shop on certain days, or order certain foods at the coffee shop.
I'm seeing that too. That certain days will. It really seems what do these guys sell? Oh, nothing much. Check if they have any specials. Oh, we have this on Sunday. And it's oh, okay. So there's incentives for me to come back to certain places on certain days.
So that's my other piece of advice. Don't be willy-nilly with it. Actually look for the specials, or if they tell you something is happening on a certain day, go out of your way to do that, because odds are you're going to get a much bigger bonus for it.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. I like that. So I think maybe and the only other thing I did is I was talking to the doctor who has the special medicine, and that ended up being a story thing. I was like, oh, okay. And I got that is one thing about the system I kind of don't get, and maybe it's because I took too long of a break. I get that establishing relationships with people will allow you new abilities.
Yes.
But then it says you can strengthen your persona through fusion of these, and I'm like, what the hell are they talking about?
Just wait till you get into fusion. Holy crap.
So that's not something I should be totally worried about, right? That's kind of was my take.
More fusion options.
I don't know what they're talking about.
So at the beginning of the game, just collect personas just from the field.
Oh yeah.
And then when you go into the Velvet Room,
most enemies you can get as a persona. I'm assuming
all of them, as a matter of fact, except for bosses.
Okay.
So here's the trick with fusion. Don't be afraid just to experiment. Listen to Igor's advice. He'll say, oh, this persona is going to be quite weak, or this looks really promising. If he says this looks really promising, go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Because the nice thing about that is even if you spend 2 Persona, you can actually go into the Persona catalog and summon them right back with for a certain price. You can summon them right back with the exact same stats and abilities as you saw them leave with. So,
okay.
So
cool.
It's actually really low stakes. And once a Persona is in your catalog, they're in there forever. So you can summon them at any time.
Sweet. Okay.
And like I said, it costs quite a bit of yen, but eventually yen quits being so much of a problem.
Before the part-time job, because I just saw it from, I don't know if there's another way to get it. I saw it in a magazine, and I was like, wait, I'm running out of money real quick. Like, how the hell?
Yeah, don't worry. Don't sweat money too much.
Okay.
You'll be able, once Mementos opens up, definitely spend a few days in there. And another piece of advice I have for you, when Mementos opens up, don't wait until the end of the game to do it all, because it's like 100 floors long, and it is required to beat the game.
Damn.
Just go into Mementos, get as far as you can, so every dungeon that you beat unlocks a new level of Mementos. And so basically get as far as you can, and then if you're not getting anywhere with your friends, you don't really need to level up your stats or anything else like that, go into Mementos and just level grind and get as much treasure as you can, because it's all unlimited. The treasure chests respawn every time you leave and come back into a floor.
Interesting.
And you can keep selling them for, ridiculous amounts of yen.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder if that's purposeful or not.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Okay.
Because this is one of those games where you actually do buy most of the best gear. Uh-oh.
Oof.
That sucks.
Yeah, some of those rare attacks that are not... Oh, well, she's wearing the royal dress, isn't she? Okay.
Yeah. But anywho, so yeah, definitely pay close attention to Mementos.
Okay. I haven't gotten there
use
yet,
that as
but
an opportunity to level up.
I'm assuming that'll be soon. But yeah, I feel like the game has really just opened up, within the last, I guess 2 days in game or something.
Well,
and the messaging system is you have a lot more freedom, because they really they take a while to kind of hold your hand and get used to the fighting system and stuff. And there's a lot of story, but I'm okay with that, because it's fully voice acted and it's an actually interesting story.
Yeah,
so
and the characters only get better and better as the game goes on. But not only that though, if you feel like it's open now, about 50 to 60 hours into that game, I was still getting new tutorials about things. Yeah. So they're
I'm liking it.
introducing
I think I've passed the point now, because I've been I'll play an hour here and then I'll quit for a while.
Yeah.
I think I'm past the point where it's like I really want to keep playing this game now.
Right. Good. And you probably won't stop for a solid 6 months.
Nice.
I'm serious. It's just one of those games. And I don't know if Addie's playing it with you, but she might also get really invested, because the story does have its dark points, like you've seen with Kamoshida, where he almost made that girl kill herself. But overall, your characters always come out on top, and it's an overwhelmingly positive story about friendship. So
that's cool. That's what it kind of seems like.
Even though there are some really dark things,
moments.
it's wow, this is really fucked up, and all the adults in this world kind of suck. Except for
and it seems
the coffee shop owner. But
I don't know about Morgana, but I'm starting to warm up to the coffee shop owner a little bit. It kind of seems
he'll be
one
of your favorites by the end. There's a whole
I was wondering
Reddit about this guy where they call him Papa San and everything.
That's
because
funny.
He's the father figure, of course, in this game.
He's starting to show some things. I'm like, they're gonna make him a sympathetic figure or something.
Extremely. And in fact, there's not going to be a single character that you don't grow very attached to by the end of the game. Unless you just ignore them.
Yeah, I'm liking it. It's
shit. I
wow,
be more
they really were
Peach.
focusing on Peach.
Yeah. No, I just didn't heal when I should have.
But what was I saying? Yeah, Addie's not playing it with me necessarily. She's gotten to a point where it's you know what, the music in this game is not bad. It's kind of relaxing. It's kind of jazzy and whatever.
Yeah, that's another thing about Persona that I really loved was the music.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
It's got kind of that electric jazz that you just described.
I'm wondering if at a certain point she'll be like, wait, what's going on here? And then it'll get to a point where it's like, wait, pause it, I gotta go somewhere. So then it's like, okay, now she's interested.
Right.
Because like Nier Automata, I told you I finished that game just recently.
Yeah.
And it was never, I'd say more than 50% of that game I was playing by myself. Yeah, this thing is crazy. And you know, she was like, I don't care, you play it, I'm not really interested. Right. But then it got to a point after like the first 2 endings, because there's really like 5 endings you want to go through. After the first 2 endings, she was like, wait, what's going on now? And because like the story started changing completely and stuff started getting super serious, and it was like, oh, okay. And then she got really interested in the story. So we'll see if that happens with Persona as well.
I mean, because I'm obviously biased, but it absolutely should happen. I mean, it's so good. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just like scratched like a very particular itch that I had at that time. But like, I fully got like completely absorbed in the world. Like, you know, I had a really shitty high school experience. I did not enjoy high school at all. And so this was like my substitute high school. You know, like, this is the high school experience I never had.
That's a fucking cool experience, man. Really, like that's a lot. That's cool.
It is, and like I still consider that, which is one of the reasons I can't dive back in and like do a new game plus, because I got so attached to the characters. Like, it almost kind of sucked to go back in and have them like not remember me, you know, like have to reintroduce myself and like form the relationship all over again. It would feel less authentic.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's authentic. There it is. Is that you had this time. You had like a whole adventure with them, I'm sure.
Right.
And so it's just like, wait, this is how it happened. You know, I'm not just doing it again. Like,
and like I wouldn't. I don't feel think like I would change anything. You know, I wouldn't change any of my decisions. At which point, you know, why even bother with the new game plus?
Why are you doing? Yeah.
Because I can't see them interacting in any other way but what I've done.
So I could see maybe in the future going back to it for you. I don't know. But that's, you know, maybe it is just revisiting like some good memories or something, rather than let's do this route now.
Oh yeah, every RPG that
let's do the route where I'm a dick.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think I'll ever do a dick run in that one. But like basically every RPG that I really love gets at least a solid like 2 or 3 playthroughs from me, with some like what we're playing right now obviously getting substantially more.
Yeah. Now, what is it going to be? I wonder what we're going to clock in at the end of this. And I'm thinking probably like 15, 16 hours, 17 hours.
This would be episode, what, 16? And this is our final one?
15 or 16, something like that.
And this is it? This is pretty much it, right?
This is it. Here he is.
Okay. Here we are. Hey! There's the last star piece. Fucking Discount Santa is wearing it.
Smithy's like...
Smithy's a unique villain.
He's weird, yeah.
He doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. You know? I mean, he's not just barking orders from the top of the castle. He's down here busting his ass, you know?
He is.
I was like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Out of my castle. Oh, I also love his speech pattern, where like every 4th word will be like capitalized.
Yeah, that's true.
Why don't you
get your stars?
Right.
It just makes him seem like kind of a selfish dick.
Yeah, just like a big child. Over here now, I'll crush you all. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear his voice, and it is kind of like that.
It's kind of like with Kefka at the end of FF6. Like, you have his whole monologue memorized, and you could easily, you know, kind of picture his voice in your head.
Yeah. And it's not the fucking voice they gave him to City, I'll tell you that.
Is there a reason to go after Smelter?
No, I never do. You can go right after Smithy.
Yeah.
I think Smelter just, he starts making weak-ass enemies.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can go right for Smithy.
It's one of those instances where it's probably better to just go for the big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, we're fucking doing this.
His defense is pretty high, though.
It is.
There we go. Jesus,
but
the lazy shell.
between the lazy shell and the drill claw, we're going to be just fine.
Yeah, it's going to be like some little drill bit or something. Yeah, Shy Guy, who cares?
Shy Guy ain't got shit. Now that move kind of sucks.
Yeah, and you can perfect block it, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, with those kind of attacks. Maybe you can't. Because I think most of the time with those kind of magic or special attacks, you can't perfect block them.
Right.
But for some reason, I feel like some of them you can. I know, like, obviously something like that you can't. But I don't know.
So I do have to watch my HP a little bit, but I think overall we're still
his
good.
attacks hit hard.
Just basically don't get sloppy is the only trick.
Yeah. And you have enough. You have like at least 4 pick-me-ups, right?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Though I did go through a few. I did go through 2 of them. So once again, just be careful. And maybe to start taking out the shy guys, because they can do that. Like if they can do sword that rain twice and then he does that sledge. Yeah, that could really jack me up. Like right now, yeah. So if that other one had done another sword rain, I think I would have been in trouble.
Yeah, maybe. Bowser would have been dead.
So let's take out the shy one, at least one of the shy guys. There we go. That should do it.
All right, that'll do it.
Yep. Okay. We're gonna be fine. And then just keep healing with Peach.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, let me know, like, keep me posted on, like, where you progress in Persona, because I was... Oh, shit!
Wow.
I was addicted to that game, and, you know, still consider it one of the tops of this generation.
It's getting good, and I'm definitely I'm probably, like, not even 15 hours in. Something like that. I'm definitely less than 20 hours in, so I'm excited to see, like, there's so much of it left.
Yeah. Oh, God, you have no idea.
Happen.
You're 20 hours into a 120-hour game.
Oh my god. And again, I know it's not like dating sim, but the whole bettering yourself. Maybe I've just played a lot of like dating sim games.
Yeah.
But the whole like I'm gonna do this to make myself smarter or more charming or whatever definitely gives me those vibes, and I like that. I think it's kind of fun.
So I'm gonna use my first rock candy here.
Good idea.
Just kind of thin the herd a little bit.
Broken, yeah. I really thought it was gonna kill the shy guys.
Yeah, I was hoping it would, but it did not.
Because I thought it caused 300 damage to everything across the board. Guess I was wrong.
Yeah, maybe it is worth taking out Smelter. Because Smithy by himself is definitely not a problem.
No. Maybe that's more of a high level thing to just focus on Smithy.
Yeah, we're still okay, but like I said, just gotta play it safe.
Yeah.
So right now that shy guy is extremely weak, so when he just makes the second one, I'll be able to take him out, and it'll just kind of even out. Okay. So I just kill the other shy guy here. And... Okay, fuck Sword Rain.
Seriously.
It seems like it should be a physical... Oh, shit. Okay, I might be in trouble here. Thought I was just gonna be able to take out shy guy there.
Sledge.
Ooh, Bowser may be down.
Bowser might be dead.
Yep. Shit. Oh shit! And I didn't get the. Well, it's alright.
Maybe another rock candy.
Yeah.
Just to kill both. Well, I guess you'll only kill one.
Because
of the shy guys,
with the final version of Smithy, it's just one-on-one basically.
It's just him, yeah.
Yeah. So here I've let myself get overwhelmed, which is not good.
You shouldn't.
I think Bowser might die again.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these guys keep doing the freaking.
I can't because I can't perfect block that. Yeah, Bowser's down. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shit.
So now it's just got to be Mario and Peach, and I've just got to. Ooh, shit. Okay.
Oh my god.
Whoa. Okay. All right. I might be in trouble here. Yeah, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Huh. I did not expect that.
No,
I did not expect that at all. Oh, thank God, Monsters FP is gone.
Seriously.
Okay.
Getting a little break.
That could save me, yeah.
Maybe Mario.
Holy crap. I did not expect that.
That was so lucky.
That was extremely lucky.
We're
Smithy
not out
just
of the woods
ran
yet.
out of FP. Oh god. Okay, so what do I want to do here? I want to use a health item. I'm gonna bring back Bowser. Sweet. Sweet.
Okay. Oh god.
Thank god.
Good.
Okay. So basically, Smithy
Just
can
had
do
to fucking wait him out.
Yeah, Smithy can't do anything to me now.
And maybe the rock candy's not a good idea because these guys are just useless.
Yeah, no,
I can't make any more of them.
It would be to my detriment to
kill them now.
Yeah, because they all they can do is stand there. So just go for broke on Smithy. Oh god,
come
there was
on.
only one more hit.
Really?
After all those resources I just spent. Smithy, think of your blood pressure.
Yeah.
It's weird, like these one-liners that you just remember from these games. You read them
Right.
so many times and they just stick with you. Foundation's weak, so stop shaking the floor! How utterly annoying. the little Smith thing, they're like, oh shit! We're all gonna die! What the heck? Like how the solution is just to keep pounding on the floor. Okay, so
Yeah,
this is,
what
this
the
is
hell
again
with this
is
place?
Yeah, I know, you've just descended into like robot hell. This is bizarre. Ooh, I'm burning, seething. Never have I been so wronged. It is time I will show you my real form. My true power. Will teach you respect.
Where the hell did Smithy come from? Like, what is he? I wonder if this is like some weird Japanese lore or something that I'm totally ignorant on.
I think it was just made up.
But they just call it the Smithy Gang.
Yeah.
And what is Smithy? He just seems like some childish lesser god, but definitely has some power.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so
I feel like with him, you just kill the head. But again, I kind of steered us wrong on the first thing. Because it is 2 parts to him. Actually, yeah, just go through your crap.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay, so the
tank's
tank,
not bad.
Yeah,
Tank's the attacker,
just,
but you can block everything it does.
Right.
As long as you have the timing.
And I just jacked my defense, so we should be in
Yeah.
good shape there. How's my flower power? Oh, I'm full.
You're
That's
great,
awesome.
yeah. The Caracola.
Yes. So the only one that I really have to watch out for is like the coffin-looking thing, I think, that jacks the
Yes.
defense. The wizard's like the easiest one because you can
The
just...
wizard has no defense.
The wizard has no defense, yeah. Okay, cool. Nice.
Nice.
And then I'm not going to even dick around. I'm just going to keep healing with Peach.
Good thinking.
Cool. And then once the coffin comes out, that's when I'll use my rock candies.
Use the what?
The rock candies.
Oh,
It's a
good thinking,
guaranteed
okay.
200.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Now it's time to score some hits. Some deeps. Oh yeah!
Nice.
Oh my god, yeah. That's just free damage. But now if I recall
Nice.
correctly though, every form has its own HP. So like if I kill the wizard, then I still have to kill the tank and the coffin, right?
No, I think it's shared.
It's shared?
I mean,
Okay.
if that's the case, then this thing would take forever, but it would just depend on luck a lot.
I thought it did take forever.
It kind of does. I think it just has very high HP.
So, the wizard head, you'll notice that his eyes are still where the eyes should be, and there's clearly like a nose. But then he also has
there's-
arms and another head.
And another head up there, yeah.
And
It's
look
very-
how the nose like moves. Do you interpret that as a penis at all? Like, am I just crazy? Looks like the wizard just has a little dick hanging out, like right where his eyes are.
A little bit, yeah.
Like, why was I created this way? It's so awful.
No, he's just enjoying himself. He's like,
Dude,
I'm
if
a
the
fucking
HP
wizard.
really is shared,
and
then
he's
this
really
is- <laughs>
confident.
Yeah. He's just like, I'm not ashamed of my body. That was kind of nice. If the HP is shared, then I'm doing some massive damage on it right now.
My eyeball testicles are on the top. I don't give a shit.
Right? What do you got to say about it?
Yeah, this is good.
So we're at about the hour mark for this episode now, but we usually tend to go a little over for the final episode, which is...
Oh yeah, I think so.
You know,
that seems appropriate.
Yeah. But we still completed this game in a respectable number of episodes, and now we can finish FF6 and start our indie projects for the summer. So
Summer of Indies.
We've really got to come to a conclusion now about which indie we want to do first.
Oh yeah.
Is there anyone that you'd like to take on? Would you like to start with Celeste? Would you like to do like a one that I've never done before on like
with
the PS4
Celeste? I totally spaced on Celeste because I definitely promised Addie I was going to do that one with her because we got a physical copy which still hasn't come yet. We don't know when it's going to come, but
I got you.
Limited Run Games made a physical copy, so we've been waiting for that one and we're going to stream it.
Oh, nice.
But there's there was the free game, the Edith Finch. I've never done Gone Home before. What was the other one? Firewatch is another one.
Yeah, Firewatch is good. I just picked up Adrift, which is set in space and looks really, really cool. I don't know. I haven't even watched a playthrough. I didn't want to spoil it for myself.
Okay.
So that'll be a fun
one to do.
Did
you see the freaking free games for June for the PlayStation Plus?
Yeah, Sonic freaking Mania.
I know, and I know I've gotten that. I've had that game for a year, and I've enjoyed, or more than a year, I guess. I've enjoyed it for a while, and then part of me is still like, "What the fuck?" Like,
right.
If I had the know-how, because you got it on Switch, didn't you?
I did, so that I could have it portable.
Yeah, so that was smart of you, because now you can just get it on the PlayStation as well, like for no reason. But
well, and you also now have it on Steam finally.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like, if I'd only gotten it on the Switch for some reason, then I could have had it on PlayStation. But that makes no sense. Like, we enjoyed our time with it on PlayStation, and we did a stream of it. So.
Well, the funny thing is, this will technically be the third copy of it I own because I downloaded the original on the Switch on day one.
Wow.
And
nice.
And then when the physical edition came out with the DLC, I bought it again for the Switch.
Nice.
Did you play through that all the way? What's that?
Did you play through that all the way? The Sonic Mania Plus?
No, actually, I still haven't done the optional characters, believe it or not.
You know what? I didn't get into it so much, but I don't think that's the game's fault at all. I think they add something interesting.
Yeah.
For sure.
I
there's like a whole nother mode.
I did a playthrough with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. And,
you did do a Knuckles playthrough, okay.
Yes. And then with Sonic, I got all of the Chaos Emeralds, but not with Tails and Knuckles. And then I'm still doing that goddamn ball minigame.
Yeah.
To get like tough. The emblems. Oh, I'm so bad at that.
Yeah, I know.
And you know, as much as I love Sonic games, I'm really bad at them in general, which is why when we do that one, that's why I bought you the Steam version, because it's got to be you that leads us through it.
I don't know if I can finish every single ball game. Like, I could probably do most of them, but then getting gold medals on all of them, we have to collect all the rings.
Yeah, I wasn't going to suggest doing that on Play the Hits. What I'd really like to do is a Sonic run and then a Knuckles and Knuckles run, just to be jackasses.
Okay, sounds good.
Boy, this would be really devastating if Peach weren't fucking invincible.
Yeah, seriously.
Also, this guy's a boatload of HP. Holy shit.
He does. He has all the HP.
Also, whoever...
Yeah, the Scarecrows can only do the specials, right? Yeah, you can't attack with a Scarecrow. That would really suck.
Whoever viewer number 3 is out there, welcome. We hope you're enjoying the last, 15 minutes of Super Mario RPG.
Hope you enjoy.
Check us out on YouTube for the whole damn series, but, yeah. This has been fun. I've loved revisiting this, man. This has been such a great game. Yeah.
And it's such a unique, all the powers to be that had to come together to make this game.
Yeah. And it's aged so well too. Like, it's not just that they made a good game for the time. They made like a really special game that holds up very well even today.
It is, and the story is just very charming. It's nice. I mean, the Mario and Luigi, fun. Paper Mario games are cute,
oh, fuck
but
you.
But this game, there was something special about it that I don't think any other game has really captured what this game has.
Right.
It's just interesting.
I agree.
So I wouldn't say it's in my probably not my top 10 of RPGs, but
no, but it doesn't
really
have to be either. And despite how simple it is, like combat-wise, it's surprisingly engaging. Like the timed hits are fun to do. They keep you engaged with the combat system.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something they've carried over to, there is one of these that will totally fuck you up, isn't there? Like, he does have one that's like death. That's right.
Oh, really?
I forgot about that. Yeah, the treasure chest, if it's a black, it looks like not a chain chomp, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
Nothing
but it'll
we have
just
to
kill
worry
you.
About. My body had a burning. It's not possible. I don't believe it. I'm finished. Done for.
No way. I don't believe it. He's still pounding away like an infant.
Well, folks, we did it. Now we get to enjoy the... I loved Squaresoft's Super NES endings. Like, just these montages and, like, little where are they nows. And they usually have, like, a parade or a fireworks festival or something.
Yeah.
It's something really charming.
Very hopeful, yeah.
Yeah. Like, their endings didn't have to, like... if this were like on the PS4, Smithy would be like, I'm gonna take you all down with me. Mario, you can't stop that cannon blast with your body. Go on without me. Like
that's very true.
Himself in like the last hour just for dramatic tension. And
that's very
true. And then the best you could hope for
something.
is like a year later they would find Mario alive somehow, but he'd still have to make a sacrifice. Like he wouldn't be the same. Here it's nice and simple. We've fixed the Star Road, and now our friend Gino, who we never used, goes away.
No sadness at all. Everyone's happy.
Yep. Gino, you will not be missed. I know there was like a big clamoring for Gino to be in Smash Brothers. Which is cool. Like I love seeing Mario RPG.
I'd be down for that, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see Mario RPG acknowledged in any way. But at the same time, I don't give a fuck about Gino.
No.
Gino's like the fucking Poochie of the Mario universe, right? His bus back to the Star Road could crash and burn, and I wouldn't be all that upset.
Gino's dead. All right.
Oh no, we lost a B-lister.
Wow, a cold man.
Well, I think Nick and I were joking about this. It's like in Walking
You're
Dead.
offending all the Gino fans out there right now.
Yeah, right? It's like in The Walking Dead when they kill a character that's like low enough stakes where it doesn't affect the overall plot all that dramatically, but it's still kind of an emotional punch to the gut. that's what Gino is. Like there's no sense of profound loss here.
Yeah, it's kind of like, hey, it's gonna be unrealistic if no one goes away. Well,
right.
Does anyone care about this one?
Right. Whereas, like, if Mallow died or something, everyone would just celebrate. He's that character, like fuck Mallow. And I love the music too. The lady who did the music for this game, she's Nomura-esque.
Has she done anything else?
I don't know, but what she did for this game was wonderful because she married Mario and Final Fantasy in like this wonderfully synthetic soundtrack that is just so evocative of my childhood that I am almost crying right now hearing this theme. And like for no real reason other than that my youth is gone. I'm a 32-year-old man and I'm never going to experience the kind of wonderment ever again that I had of opening this game on a Christmas morning.
No, that's very true. Unless maybe seeing it through your kids.
I was just gonna say
so
the kind of nice thing. Well, one of the kind of nice things about having kids is you really get to see them experience those things. With the sole difference of like one thing that's kind of weird for me is like, oh man, this thing that I thought was so cool and brilliant when I was little Connor's so not into it. He's like
Oh,
got
really?
his completely own set. Like he's his own unique person. And you just kind of have to make your peace with that.
Yeah.
Like so, some of the things that you like, he'll like. Other stuff, he just won't give two shits about.
Yeah, that's kind of the fun of it. You know, at the same time,
It's
when
a grab
they
bag.
do,
It really is.
when they do like something you like, it's just like, oh, that, yeah.
Yeah, like
This
I
is
said,
cool,
I'm
isn't
really
it?
I'm gonna go for broke on Pokemon since he's really into that right now. And
The
I remember,
Shy Guy just hijacked his.
Yeah, I know.
little
Like,
shit.
what the fuck was that Shy Guy thinking? Did he? I mean, dude, does he know who fucking Bowser is? Bowser's gonna put that fucking Shy Guy down.
It's just
There's
one day
Johnny.
from retirement. Yeah, there's Johnny.
Johnny's just looking at the sun. Arr, only now do I realize the real treasure was me children.
Wait, what? I totally missed that.
That was a Simpsons quote.
I didn't even hear it.
Oh, I
Only
said,
now do I realize
only
what-
now do I realize that the real treasure was me children.
Wait, what the hell?
What?
What's going on? Every time you finish that, you cut out. Only now do I realize, and then you keep cutting out.
Okay,
I
I'm gonna
swear
try
to
this
God.
one more time, and if not, you're just gonna have to listen to the recording. Only now do I realize that the real treasure was me children.
Okay.
The sea captain.
Okay, yeah, I do remember that one.
That was a
I
classic.
thought Twitch was like, or something was like auto censor you. I'm like, what in the hell
That's
are you
hilarious. You
saying?
can't say children on Twitch.
You can't.
Though I did mark our channel as technically mature audiences just because we swear so
That's
much.
that's smart, yeah.
But it's a noble sacrifice for as many F-bombs as we want to drop.
Damn fucking right.
Damn fucking right. Ass fuck. Wait, can you say ass fuck? Is that still acceptable?
Is that?
I mean, it must be because we're still here. Thank you so much for to play in my game.
Yup.
Thank you so much for to play in my fucking game. Fuck you.
It took me a little bit.
No way.
No, Mario. No, Mario. Why?
I'm gonna go get drunk now. And there's Luigi.
Yeah, there
Luigi
he
missed
is.
out on another adventure. Oh,
What it is?
nothing's
This
okay.
Stupid fucking comic I saw
The,
the other
late
day.
the late '90s were not a good time to be Luigi. You know?
That's Luigi. No, I saw it was Mario and Luigi, and then there's this Italian-looking woman. It's like it's the Mario brothers, and Luigi's like, "Mama, why can't you remember my name?" And she's like, "I'm a sorry, Green Mario."
Hey, look, Jim Biggs. I'm sorry, Green Mario. Oh, dude, we talked about the
The JB.
Oh yeah, so Jim Biggs first off, but then what was it? Shit, what's that YouTube channel that does all the sprite-based parodies? Dorkly.
Dorkly? Okay.
You've seen regular Giuseppe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, Mario is missing. I'm not
shit,
gonna clean
that's
this up. Who am I kidding? I'll clean it up. Wait, Giuseppe, don't use the vacuum. It's a full of a ghost. My life is fucking regular Giuseppe. That's awesome. I kind of wish like that were popular enough that Nintendo would like do like even like a wink and a nod to Giuseppe
To
because
acknowledge it in some way.
that is my favorite Dorkly bit ever. That's just
It's
so fucking
Nintendo being
spot on.
Nintendo, I feel like they wouldn't even acknowledge
No.
like protecting their image. They're never even gonna acknowledge Bowsette, I'm sure.
No,
and that's
of
like
course.
such a huge thing that
Dude.
it's might as well be canon. Like
I straight up like wasn't even like looking to jack it, and I found Bowsette through hentai. I'm not even kidding. Like I was looking.
Bowsette's everywhere. Yeah.
Well, what happened was I was looking for the box art when I was creating the intro for Super Mario RPG.
Yeah.
For our intro screen, and you know, it kind of opened up the floodgates a little bit. It's like, oh, there's some actual really cool fan art of Super Mario RPG. Oh, here's a cool one of like Bowser, Peach, and Mario looking really badass. Oh, what the fuck is this? Why is Toadstool wearing Bowser's costume? Oh, why is she being fucked by Goombas?
God.
It's like, oh, that was my introduction to
the internet.
Bowsette. Yeah, because the internet is a cold and mysterious place.
Yeah, wonderful place.
Yeah.
full of fresh
I'm not gonna lie,
education every day.
Bowsette stirred something in me, but hey, look, there's Smithy. And he's riding that thing. Oh,
he's
so
riding Blade.
He made the Blade for the Power Rangers then, didn't he?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess it would. That explains why they were so willing to steal for him. Oh, man.
Yeah, I love this little parade.
I know, like I said...
These endings, you're right, that they can't be this kind of hopeful and just, everything worked out for the best.
Yeah, right? You
because apparently that's not realistic.
No. Well, and the funny thing was, like, I make no secret of this. I love Chrono Cross almost as much as I love Chrono Trigger, but that game was basically 40 hours of Squaresoft saying the ending of Chrono Trigger was way too hopeful.
That's true.
We're gonna fucking undo it.
Yeah, just really ignore all that stuff.
Out. Yeah, right.
You know, after all that, everything went to shit. Sorry.
Yeah, really. Like that's literally that's the story of Chrono Cross. Like 10 minutes after, like the really happy ending you got in that game, that gave you like all kinds of feelings. No, everything just fucking.
That's what I don't like about like Final Fantasy 13 too as well. Is Final Fantasy 13? Yeah, it had a hopeful ending, but it also, Vanille and Fang made a sacrifice. And I'm like, okay, cool. They had a second chance that they kind of almost weren't supposed to have. So it made sense that they saved the day and made the noble sacrifice.
Yeah, right. But they finished the job they were called to do.
But it was a nice, happy ending. And then 13-2 is like 5 minutes later, oh shit. Like,
well, not only that, though, but with like 13-2, like, they undid it so much so that it almost feels like 13 like really was inconsequential in the grand scheme of things.
It does. Oh my god. With the power leveling where it's just like lightning gets this powerful that you can like kill gods easily.
Yeah. With Chrono Cross, like everything kind of went to shit from the first game, but what happened in that game still mattered because it kind of set the stage for Chrono Cross. Like 13-2 could have taken place entirely without 13 having ever happened.
That's true. and I know technically they were gonna like the whole idea of the Falsies was to ram Cocoon into the ground.
Right.
And kill everyone. But for you, it was like, at least at first, it was like rescue Sarah.
Yeah, right.
And then in 13-2, it's like, oh, Sarah dies. It's
yeah,
like,
fuck
really?
You. And then in Lightning Returns, it's like, yeah, she pretty much just stays dead. I mean,
yeah.
If I interpreted that right. Huh? Discord just gave me an application error. You still there?
I'm still here.
Cool. I'm a little afraid to hit OK to terminate the program, so what we're going to do instead...
Just ride it out for a few seconds.
Yeah, we're going to ride it out for as long as we can here, since we're broadcasting anyways. I've never seen Discord do this, and you can't see it on your screen, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So...
Fuck you, Discord. We're having whatever.
Here. This has been Super Mario RPG. This is just a happy little RPG. It makes me feel like a little boy again. And all you're missing is a star dancing and saying the end. So, Max, what needs to be said that we haven't already said? Squaresoft is forever like a treasure of the video gaming industry to me because of what they did in the late 90s and early 2000s. And
yeah, it's given them a lot of goodwill, basically.
To the point where, like, even though we just spent like a half hour crucifying some of their games, like, they still haven't exhausted that goodwill for me. I still, like, pick up Squaresoft games just on the virtue of their, pedigree, basically. But, hey, this has been Super Mario RPG. We'll see you next time, and hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have.